Hey, hello everybody. Having technical issues here, but I am up and running. Okay, so just gonna give it a minute here and see if anybody is online with me. And, oh, hello Christina, Donna, hello Kimmy, awesome. I'm just going to give it a few minutes, guys, before I get going. Hi, Cindy. Maggie. Awesome. Hey, Kendall. How are you, hon? This is great. Oh, I'm so excited. My first live. Woohoo! The kids are here with me. We're just like trying to get this all sorted out. It wasn't as easy as just pressing a button, so I think we're good now. But yeah, before I get started, I'm just going to give it a few minutes. I would have liked to have been here about 5 minutes before we started, but anyhow, just a few more minutes. I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. I know I had a great Mother's Day. Fortunately, I am at home with my mother and my children, so that was perfect. And I know not everybody has the ability to do so. So yeah, I hope it was great. We deserve it, us moms. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining. And feel free to comment too, guys, like anything at any point. If you have a question or you want to know anything, just dig right in. So yeah, I am going to wait till about 5 minutes after 7 and just see how that goes. Kendall, you should get to your kids if they're waiting for you. Awesome. How's everybody doing with isolation? It's been a long haul, eh, guys? Hopefully we're drawing near the end. It would be nice for sure. Anyhow. Okay, so let's just see here. I know I got a few people from other places that are waiting to chime in here. Very good. Okay, so going gray. I don't know. I know, Kimmy, I've talked to you about going gray a few times. I would love for you to go gray. Hi, Roxanne. Thanks for chiming in. I'm waiting for Candy. She told me she was going to be here at 6, and I told her, no, not till 7, Can. So I hope to see her too. So I guess I'll just kind of get going. Hi, Lori. Nice to see ya. This is awesome. Hello, Ginny. How's it going, girl? I hope you enjoyed that Caesar the other day. Yeah. Cheers. Oh, hello there, Sherry Bojanowski. Are you thinking about going gray, girl? That's awesome. I think that so many people are considering this whole gray thing, especially like now that we've been in isolation for, you know, over 6 weeks. People have major regrowth, and I think everybody's thinking about simplifying their lives somewhat and embracing their natural color a little bit more. I've had so many people message me about their hair, what they're going to do with it, what can they do while, you know, we're all at home in isolation. So my advice has been for most people to just leave their hair. I mean, if you're not out working in the public, just kind of let it go. I know it's more difficult for people that are, you know, essential workers and still working and that kind of thing. Everybody can hear me okay, right? I hope. Like, I don't know if everything's okay. But just let me check with my kids here. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, awesome. Hi, Lindsay. Hello there, Miss Donna. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get on with the topic of embracing your gray and how we go about doing that. And the first things that I want to go over with a few of you is everybody's situation is different. Not everybody has the same amount of gray hair as the next person. quite often some people have like 100% gray, and then other times some people just have like, you know, sparse areas, maybe the front or around their temples, and less gray throughout. So I mean, every situation's different. And when we talk about embracing your gray and getting back to your natural color, not every scenario is going to be the same. So this isn't about exactly what you're going to do with your hair tonight, because that's impossible to do. It is about what preparing you for going gray and what that looks like. So I just want to go over those facts. So the process itself, first things first, I want to tell you, if you decide to go gray, it is a process. It does not happen overnight, and it is a commitment. And so many times in the salon, you know, we try to explain this to our clients, and a lot of women, they think that they want to go gray, they get into going gray, they get like a quarter of the way into it, and then they're like, oh, forget this shit, I'm over it, I can't do this. And the process may not be as easy as they thought it was. So it is a process, it is a commitment, and it takes a little bit of time to get there. So I just want to be clear on that, and so that everybody's on the same page as far as that's concerned. The other thing that I want you to take into consideration too is, if you're thinking about going gray, is if you're somebody that has dark hair, or you've worn your hair brown or dark brown, and you're thinking about going gray, it is a big transformation from going from dark to light. So that is one thing that we find is very challenging for a lot of women, to do that transition. Sometimes when you're blonde and you're considering going gray, it is an easier transition than you know, going from dark to light. The other thing that what happens when you go gray is it changes your overall tone, it changes all your coloring. So your skin tone is different, it becomes different. Your makeup needs to be adjusted for gray hair. I find that a lot of women that go gray need to adjust their makeup, whatever they were doing, and quite often even their wardrobe, like their clothing colors that they choose for what they wear and stuff like that, that tends to change as well. So do know that there is adjustments that happen when you do go gray. Makeup, your skin, your clothing, those are all things that you will find will become a little bit different for you, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, quite often, most women that go gray, it is absolutely gorgeous, and they are thrilled with it when it's all said and done, and they look absolutely fantastic with gray hair. So I just want to say that. The other thing, when people used to ask me about going gray, and they were in their like early 40s or even like their early 50s, I used to say to them, well, you know what, like it's beautiful. It can be very, very beautiful, but it does age, it puts age on you. It's very true, but honestly, in this day and age, with platinum and gray hair being such a big thing over the last 5 years in our industry, more younger women are embracing gray hair earlier in life than normal. And I don't think that gray hair ages you quite the same as it used to. And especially if you have like a rock and roll haircut that looks friggin' amazing, and you are the kind of woman that can pull it all off with your clothing, with your makeup, all that kind of stuff. Gray hair it can look fabulous. And I'm gonna eat my words, because I don't think it ages you like it used to. So, but it is about embracing it and embracing the fact that you are changing things up. So I want you to keep that in mind too. Today I want to go over the process of what it looks like to go gray for a lot of people. I want to talk about your options and be very clear about all of that for everybody, okay? So first things first is, I'm kind of, winging it here. Let me just talk about, I wanted to show you pictures actually of people that I had found on the internet But because we had a little bit of computer issues tonight, I ended up having to go live on my iPad, which all my pictures are on, so I am not going to be able to post those. But maybe what I'll do is post those on my Facebook feed afterwards, just to give you an idea as to what I was referring to. I apologize for not being able to show you any pictures of what it is I'm referring to. If you are going gray, this is, I want to be clear, because quite often what we see in the salon is women that think that they want to go gray, and they're ready to make that transition, and they come into the salon for their color appointment, and they sit down and they show us a picture, and even if it's not gray, but like, you know, you're going multiple levels lighter than what you are currently, it isn't something that can be done that day, something that can be done that day at that moment. Going gray, and the process of going gray, we require enough time to do that. So if you come into the salon for your regular color booking and you're looking for a big transformation, it is something that we need to book time for. And the consultation is huge. Like, we really need to be very clear about the process and what's happening for you and what that looks like for you. So, you know, my heart breaks when women come in and they have high hopes of doing something, and we're like, oh, like, today that's not going to happen for you, or we don't have the time for that. However, maybe we can get going on something else. They're usually like, nah, just do whatever you normally do. So I just want to be really clear that if you are thinking about going gray, or even just going back to your natural color, that you come in for a consultation, you book in for a consultation. A consultation is free, and the proper amount of time will be booked off for your color service. And it really is imperative that we have enough time. And, you know, I just want to use as an example, this year we've seen the big color transformations of, like, we saw Jane Fonda. She went from brunette with blonde highlights. She's completely gray now. We also saw Sharon Osbourne. She went from her intense red, and I think she wore that color for 20 years. And she's now gone completely gray. And I just want to be clear about those, when that happens for those celebrities, and I'm not saying that it cannot be done in a day, but when a service is done like that in a day, like an 8-hour day or 12-hour day for those particular people, it includes like multiple colorists, assistants. The process is very huge. Not only that, but before these people come in to get their hair completely removed and lightened and taken down to gray and done properly so that the integrity of the hair is all intact, before that even happens, their hair is prepped for months before. So meaning, you know, they are restructuring the bonds, they are restructuring the hair at home, doing treatments, you know, moisturizing, hydration, amino acids. Like, they're repairing their hair and prepping it for the procedure of having it stripped down and having it colored in a one-day time frame. You know, it is doable. It doesn't happen that often. It's not as easy as it seems on the internet and that kind of thing. However, it is thousands of dollars, and not every, you know, person can afford that. So I just want to be really clear, because we do often have people that bring pictures in and they think that that can happen. And I get it. Not everybody understands the process. But I want to talk to you about what your options are for the process of you going gray and how that can happen. But yeah, so celebrity styles often are a challenge for us to do in a short time frame. The other thing too that I want to talk about is, let me just refer to my notes here for a second. I talked to you about the prepping. Your options. So the options for you going gray. If you have to have a good rapport with your stylist. You have to be confident in what they can do, and your colorist. It is absolutely imperative that for it to be done properly and for you to be happy with it, I highly recommend that you choose the right person and you're good with that. But first and foremost, it comes down to the amount of gray you have in your hair. So when I talk about somebody like Sharon Osbourne or Jane Fonda, these women are 100% gray at the root. So what is happening is as the roots grow, this is all, the ends of their hair is all being stripped down, all the colors being removed to match the gray hair at the root. This isn't going to be the case for every woman who is going gray, because some women have scattered gray, some women have intense gray in the front. Like, the gray situation is different. So we wouldn't go ahead and strip down all of your hair if you have like dark brown like me in through the back. However, you have like a large amount of gray in the front. It's not done that way. The procedure is different. And a good colorist, a good hairstylist will tackle it the way that your hair is naturally growing in. So I want to be clear on that. It isn't always about stripping it right out and making it gray, because that might not be your situation completely. So clear on that. The process itself, you have a couple of options, or lots of options actually, in going gray. And some women, when they make the choice to go gray, it's like a mental decision and they are ready. They want to do it. They're done with coloring their hair. They are ready to embrace their gray. Their hairdresser has told them how beautiful their hair is going to be when it comes in, whatever it might be. I really wish I had my pictures to show you, but I don't. So there is a few options. So your options are, okay? Like I told you, if you're 100% gray and it's growing in, you can strip out that color on your ends. And I want you to think about that. If your ends are brown and we need to get you to white, and literally that's what your hair needs to be. When I talk about white, I'm talking about like even whiter than the front of my hair, okay? We want no yellow in the hair. But when your hair's dark and we need to get you down to white, it's a process of eliminating all that color that's in the cuticle of your hair till we can get you to white. So sometimes that does not happen. It's something that we cannot control. However, it is a process and we will get you there. And at the salon, we are all about the integrity of your hair. We never jeopardize the integrity of your hair at the salon. We do not do more than your hair can handle. And we do use great products that ensure the integrity of the hair. However, the hair can only take so much and we don't overdo it. So anyhow, I'm kind of getting off topic, but if you're going with 100% gray at the root, it is about removing all that color on the ends. That is your process. And you either embrace that or you decide that you're ready to cut it and you do something short. And often this is a great look. I mean, I look on the internet and I see pictures on Pinterest and Google Images or whatever, and women with pixie cuts, short haircuts that have gray in their hair, they are gorgeous. And this is really the best case scenario. Not every woman wants to cut their hair off, and I totally get that. And you don't have to. I'm not saying that you have to cut your hair off, but being open to cutting your hair and eliminating some length here and there is definitely something that you have to take into consideration, only because when you get stripping the hair and you get lightening the hair, your ends are going to require it. That's one way of doing it. The other way, and some of you might really be surprised by this, but the other way of going gray, believe it or not, and we don't see it a lot in this little small town of ours, but wearing a wig is another way of going gray. And for women that are professional and working in corporate positions, or can't go through those phases of growing their hair out, women are wearing wigs, and wigs are so amazing nowadays. I mean, you don't even know when somebody has a wig on. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. They are so good. And extensions, wigs, everybody's wearing extensions and wigs now. It's just the way it is. So so wearing a wig is definitely an option. And there's a woman on YouTube actually, and her name has totally left me right now. I cannot think of it, but you should check her out. She's on YouTube and she's documented her journey on going gray. and she chose to do so wearing a wig, and she told nobody about it. She told nobody. She continued to wear a wig that looked like her natural hair, and when all of her hair was grown in and she was completely gray, she literally showed up at work the next day with gray hair, and it was amazing, the transformation. So it's not unlike the Jane Fonda, Sharon Osbourne situation, right? One day you have hair that's one way, the next day you have completely gray hair. I mean, that's the way it goes. So wearing a wig is definitely an option. The other thing that I want to suggest is if you're thinking about going gray and you have color on your ends, and, you know, some women are just going to let it go. You know, they're just going to let those roots grow out. And if that's the case and that's how you feel and you're comfortable wearing your hair that way, I would recommend Root Touch-Up Spray. L'Oreal Professional makes a great root touch-up spray that'll get you through. And basically, when your hair is styled, you're just going to apply the root touch-up spray to the areas that need it. And it really helps to camouflage that gray and get you through. I mean, you won't be able to do that forever. I mean, as the roots get longer and longer, you're not going to be able to root touch-up spray all of that. You'll have to make some decisions, but that's another option as you're growing out. It really does help. So something really cool, too, that I'd like to suggest is that lots of people tackle their gray hair with lowlights and highlights. And if you're somebody that has like a lot of natural in your hair still, yet you're getting quite a bit of gray, and you've got that salt and pepper combination, and you want to start embracing that, lowlights and highlights are definitely the answer for you. So I'm going to post some pictures so you get an idea as to what it is I'm talking about, but that's a fantastic option for growing out your hair as well. And it blends that regrowth area really, really nicely without altering your natural color. So done properly with baby lights and the right application, it can really work. The other cool thing, my girls are giving me notes here. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is panels. This is a cool idea, and we do have a few clients in the salon actually that do this to their hair. And just off the top of my head, Janelle Goodrow is one of the ones that I can think of. But women that aren't sure if they want to embrace their gray completely, but have a lot of gray, will start doing panels. So when I mean panels, I'm going to show you on my own hair. So what we do is we take sections, like large sections of the hair, and we let your natural color start growing in on those sections. And we continue to color the areas that fall over top. And it's a great look because it introduces you to the gray, and it looks really funky. If you have the right haircut, it totally suits it. But panels are a good way to introduce gray as well. So in Jeanette's case at the salon, Jeanette has a full panel of gray all through the front of her hair, and she wears it in a really nice kind of short tapered bob. It's super cute, and people ask her all the time about her color. And she continues to color the rest because throughout the rest of her hair, she only has a small amount of gray. And it's not enough, like she doesn't love it, and she loves the contrast of having it dark in the back and light in the front. So panels are definitely an option, and it still gives you the coverage you need on the root area. So that's an option as well. The other thing I wanted to talk about too is if you are somebody that has dark hair and you do have gray, and yet you don't have a ton, but you know, you've got some coming in and you're coloring all the time and blah, blah, blah. We see this a lot. Introducing some very tiny gray kind of pieces in and around the front or through the top, doing that in baby lights looks amazing. And it really takes away from the root area, so you don't have to worry about coloring your roots so much, and it's a great blend. So sometimes just introducing some gray around the front, like I want you to visualize it kind of where my really light blonde is. You can make that gray, you can do a little bit scattered pieces of gray throughout. That's an option as well to start introducing you to some gray. And somebody that I think about that's famous that has that is Stacy London, and I don't know, she did a TLC show, some kind of, do you girls remember what the name of that show was? What Not to Wear. What Not to Wear, Stacy London, and she had long dark hair, and she introduced, her stylist just started putting some silver through her hair because she was getting gray at the root. She colors her hair dark, and it's kind of a signature look, and yet it gives her, it introduces her to gray. It kind of jazzes up her whole look. It makes her hair look interesting instead of just all one color. So that's an option as well for a lot of women. But if you're blonde, doing this kind of thing, doing these procedures is a little bit easier to do because we don't have as much lifting to do in the hair. It is a little bit easier, but again, I want to reiterate that your hair has to be light enough in order to give you that silvery gray color. So I mentioned about pixie cuts. The other thing is, you know, there is women out there that are just done with it completely, and they just say, you know what, take her off. Like, I want it gone. I'm not dealing with this. They don't want that 5 inches of gray, you know, root and then ends that are a completely different color. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're somebody that's growing out your hair and you've got like 5 inches of gray and your hair's my length, and then the rest of it's all colored like, I don't know, like a blonde or a red or gold or whatever, you don't need to live with it like that. You don't need to live with your ends that color and your roots gray. Now, some women are like set, I'm not coloring it, I'm not doing nothing, I'm done with color, I'm over it. But honestly, this can all be corrected as closely to that as possible. And it is a better blend. So that is an option as well. And it's not that challenging to do. The more gray you have coming in at the root, the easier it makes our job, to be quite honest. Because we want to stay away from your natural color as much as possible. When you come in with a small amount of gray, it's a little more challenging for us to work with because we want to keep it off that gray as much as possible, yet we need to correct the hair color. So my suggestion would be the more root that you can provide, the easier and the more options we have for our for what we can decide to do. So yeah, those are all suggestions. But the thing is that you need to be open to the suggestion of the stylist. They're going to tell you what the best case scenario is for you. And the other thing I want you to be open with, and you know, if you're going to make that transition to doing something dramatic with your color, you need to be a little bit open to cutting as well. And I'm a true believer that you need to build the house before you paint it kind of thing. But I mean, not everybody is open to cutting. And trust me, you don't want to do a whole ton of chemical service and not be open to trimming up and doing regular cuts, because it is what it is. I hope that kind of helped you. I do have a few questions here, so I am going to answer these questions. And if there's anything that I didn't kind of cover, I would love to hear from anybody that has a question. And feel free to message me or send me pictures or whatever. Give me 1 second here and let me just see. Okay, so one question I have here. My hair is gray, or prominently gray in the front and dark in the back. How do I grow it in? How do I grow it in if it's not the same all over and it looks terrible and multiple colors on the ends? Yeah, this is, again, one of those situations where it's going to need to be tackled differently than just stripping it right down. You need a consultation. You need to come in, we need to see your hair, we need to talk about the integrity of your hair, what kind of shape your hair's in, and what it can handle. But it's not really, like just reading that, it's not too disconcerting. I mean, if you're dark in the back and you've got color on your ends, sometimes it's just as simple as a tint back. Like you maybe just need your natural color put back onto the ends to balance it out. And maybe like Stacy London or whatever, you can do some brightening and some lightening around your face. But I would definitely recommend a consultation to be absolutely sure on that. Now, sadly, I know when we get opening up again at the salon, it's going to be a bit of a gong show, because I mean, we have so many regular clients that will need to be serviced, and this isn't going to be an easy thing to, you know, get people in for consultations for grays and stuff. But it's good that you educate yourself as well. Like, get online and check things out and see how things are done, and really get knowledgeable about what it is you want to do. I'm just going to take another question here. I'm scared to make the transition. My hair has been dark for years. What would be an easy way to go about it? Again, you have some options. Just introducing some gray to it may just be the option. If your hair is still mainly dark, you don't want to think about stripping it right down. I mean, women go gray for different reasons. They either go gray because they love the look of gray and they're ready to embrace gray hair, or they are just tired of the maintenance of coloring their hair. That's quite often a scenario for us. So I don't want you to think that you're going to be doing less work by going gray, because quite honestly, the process of growing gray is not, it isn't done in a day, like I told you before. But the process of going gray takes time. And once you do get to where you want to be and you still have color in your hair, you're going to be toning it regularly to keep it fresh, to keep it from not looking brassy, until you've gotten all that color cut out of it. That's the process that will be happening. So in your case, if you're mainly gray and you're ready to start introducing if you're mainly dark and you're thinking about, you know, entertaining the idea of putting some gray in your hair, that's a big option for you to start maybe just introducing some around the front, giving yourself a taste of what that might look like for you. Okay, I hope that helped. Another question that I had, I feel like my gray is completely a different texture from my colored hair. It's kind of dry and wiry, and I don't want that. What can I do for that? We hear this quite often with a lot of people who are letting their gray come in, that they notice that the texture of their gray hair is coming in differently than their color-treated hair. So color-treated hair is going to be softer. It is going to be softer because we're sealing the cuticle. There's a lot of moisturizing and nutrients that goes into coloring, so it looks healthier, it looks shinier. But yeah, gray hair can be coarser and wiry. There is solutions to that though. I mean, we can do glossings at the salon where there's no color put in the product. It just simply glosses the cuticle of the hair shaft, seals it down, and makes the hair smoother and more shiny. The other thing is there is so many great products out there for frizzy, wiry, coarse hair that honestly can combat all of that. So just getting referred the right product will make a world of difference if you're thinking about going gray, for sure, and using the proper products. Another question I have here. I have short hair. COVID has 1 inch of gray, but how fast is hair? Oh, sorry. Since COVID, I have 1 inch of gray hair. How fast does hair usually grow? In about a 4 to 6 week time period, the hair will grow about 1/4 of an inch. So it depends. Everybody's different. It really does. Some people's hair grows much faster. So the average is 1/4 inch, about every 4 to 6 weeks. So if you have 1 inch of gray, you were probably due for your color prior to going into isolation, and now we're looking at 8 weeks. So a good inch of regrowth is awesome. If you are, Susan, considering going gray, I would continue to just let that regrowth grow in, and let's have a really good look at your hair and discuss your options about what that might look like for you. But that's a great question, yeah. Everybody's hair does grow at different... And another question that I have here from Kendall is, which is the healthiest way to grow gray, cut it off or highlight it. So the healthiest way, Kendall, of course, is to cut it. You know, and I'm not saying that highlighting is damaging by any means, because we do have access to great products that, you know, don't dry out the hair. However, it is a chemical service, and whenever we're taking pigment out of the hair, you know, you feel it in the hair. You're going to notice a texture difference. But I mean, for me, that's not an issue. I think either is a choice for you. It really depends on your hair. And it's been a while since I've seen your hair, but I'm thinking you have coarser, thicker hair, which can be a little more challenging to lighten as well. So that is going to be a factor for you. But I would definitely think about, and I don't know how long your hair is right now, either, Kendall, actually, but definitely cutting it is the answer. And if you look at like pictures, and I always think of Jamie Lee Curtis with her pixie gray hair and how awesome that looks. You know, just embracing that kind of thing is a great way to go about it. Somebody asked, does gray hair tend to be drier? A lot of people do notice that the texture of their gray hair is very different. I don't know if it's drier so much or if it's just like coarser. If the hair itself almost has like a thicker, more dense texture to it. But you know, that's not the case for everybody. Some people have been coloring their hair for 20 years and they let their gray come in and they're like, holy Moses, my hair is thicker, it feels healthier, it has more body. So every scenario is a little bit different. Yeah, it can seem drier, especially if you're coloring it gray. It is going to feel a little bit drier. But I mean, I love that. I mean, I color my hair and I take the pigment right out of it as well. But I love what that does for my hair because it gives my hair texture. And it's all just how you embrace it. Now, mind you, like, I'm going to use my hair as an example again because I don't have any pictures. But if I didn't use a product and give my hair what it needed, it would look much drier than what it looks. But if you are deciding to go gray, you need to embrace the fact that you are going to need the proper products and just use the right things on your hair to keep your hair healthy, to keep it soft, to keep it manageable, to hold the color in, and if you're trying to grow it, to help it to grow too. So product is a huge deal for sure. Okay, I feel like there was something else. A lot of people are really curious about cost, and it really depends on the situation. If we're getting into stripping the hair and we're blocking off large time frames and doing so, your hair is my length or longer, we need multiple people working on you. At the salon, we would probably charge an hourly rate for something like that. I mean, it isn't as simple as quoting you a price that says, you know, it's highlights and lowlights, that's what it's going to cost kind of thing. I mean, be prepared. You're going to be paying a couple $100. You want it done properly, maybe even more, depending on what you want. But I think that if you're going to make the transition and you want to do something major like that, I think that you need to be open to spending the money, doing it properly, being happy with it, and living with you're the one that has to live with it. I know if it was my hair and I felt like garbage about what was going on with it, and I wouldn't be happy. And most women are like that about their hair. Honestly, a bad hair day can send everybody off onto a whole different level. So, I mean, we've all been there where, you know, you've left the salon and you're like, oh shit, I'm not happy, I don't like it, or it happens. It's part of life. Hopefully it doesn't happen often, and once you're with a stylist and you're on the same page and that kind of thing's happening, you're happy. But I think it's important to, if you're going to be making the transition to gray, that you're open to ideas and spending some money and doing it properly. And the home care is completely part of it. You need everything that is recommended for home as well. And you'll be happy. and you'll be happy. So I think that kind of covers, I don't even know how we are for time. Just a sec here. Girls, how are we for time? Nobody knows what time it is. Oh, okay. We've been almost an hour talking. Wow. Well, you know, I have no problem talking. So somebody has a question here for me. Give me 1 second here. What is, Georgia, can you help me out with that? I can't get back in here.
Does gray hair tend to be drier?
Yes, I did that one. Somebody said yes, Carolyn, blah, 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 but I can't see anything more.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't have a question there.
Kind of just.
Can you low light a gray? Yes, you can absolutely low light a gray, and we get that question a lot from women that have beautiful gray hair, and they come in and they're like, oh, I'm just tired of my gray. I need something and I want low lights. And sometimes we're just like, oh, but you know what? It can look fabulous. And it's just enough for them that, you know, it gives them some contrast. It breaks it up. And yeah, absolutely. Low lights can be done in gray hair. Not a problem whatsoever. And it can look absolutely fantastic. Will letting thin hair go gray? Oh, good question. Okay, so the next question was, will letting thin hair go gray look thinner? I think that depends a lot on, sometimes that can be the case, because hair color, the way it's done, the placement of color, if you're doing color and highlights, and it has more dimension to it, it can look thicker. But sometimes, yes, it can look, it really depends. I find quite often with women that are letting their gray hair come in and have been coloring it for years, that their hair is, they like the texture of their new gray hair. So I think that that's a hard question for a lot of people. If your hair is exceptionally fine, you might want to think about maybe doing some lowlights, letting your gray come in, but maybe giving it some dimension and doing some lowlights and some contrast, and that might help with giving you some density to the hair. But you know what? Honestly, the right product, you'll be good. There's so many fantastic products out there for thin hair. It's, you know, I think that we can combat that for sure, no problem. Yeah, and just having the right recommendation as far as what product to use from your stylist is going to be awesome. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that you're going to have to play it by ear. But you know, there's solutions. You don't have to go back to all over hair color. Like I said, lowlights. You can do some dimensional color. Can add some interest and give it some dimension as well. Okay, so just to wrap things up, was there any more questions? Oh, Kimmy. So Kimmy, of course, I'm familiar with your hair. And Kimmy was one of the people that I was going to use her picture today on my live. So for those of you that are regular clients in the salon and you know Kimmy at the front end, Kimmy with her purple hair and her great personality and her awesome hair that everybody loves. And Kimmy's hair works for her huge. It's a great cut for her. It's a great color for her. It works great with her skin tone. But Kimmy is 100% gray. Well, she is 100% gray in the front. She isn't quite as gray in the back, but she is at least 85% gray in the front. I think that Kimmy's hair would look absolutely sensational gray. That's been my opinion for quite some time. I would love to see Kimmy embrace her gray hair. But this goes back to the scenario of what I told you about how this changes your skin tone and how it changes your coloring overall, it changes your clothing, it changes everything. Kimmy is an olive complexion that looks fantastic in that plum purple dark hair. It really works for her. If she was to put gray, or if she was to do her hair gray, I think she would look absolutely dynamite in gray hair as well, considering her haircut is spectacular. She's funky. She pulls it off all over with her clothing and her makeup. She would have to make adjustments, yes. So if you guys know Kimmy and you can visualize that, I really want you to think about that in your head, because it is a completely different scenario than seeing her with dark hair. But yeah, I know, Kimmy, I saw you a couple weeks ago just briefly from a distance, and those roots are really coming in. This might be my time. I might be able to convince you to embrace your gray. And you know what? Keep in mind too that, like, you can always color. I mean, it's really easy to color you. It's not so easy to remove it and make you lighter. And so, you know, it's different. But yeah, I mean, you don't know till you try. But I mean, I get on the internet and I'm always looking at pictures and all this stuff, and I see these women with gray hair and fantastic haircuts, and I'm just like, oh my God, I love it. And I think that if I was going to go gray, I would for sure cut my hair off short and do something funky and just embrace it. But I mean, everybody's different, you know, and I see women with beautiful blunt hair, and even women with long hair or curly hair, and they've gone gray, and it's awesome. I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more people embracing more of a natural look. I think that, you know, with all we've gone through in the last 6 to 8 weeks, I think women are ready to do something different. And that's going to be happening. That being said, we've been in this phase of platinum gray hair now for about the last 3 to 5 years in the salon, honestly. Well, I'm kind of in the same boat myself. And I do know that moving into spring and summer for sure, the whole platinum white hair thing is kind of going, as far as being a blonde goes, it's taking a turn. You're going to see a lot more sun-kissed hair. You're going to see a lot more gold, a lot more warmth, and we can see that already in some of the celebrities and stuff. Yeah, so this platinum gray thing for younger people like me that try and, you know, do that, it's changing. But anyhow, that's getting a little bit off topic. But yeah, Kimmy, let's do it. Let's get this gray hair of yours going. Rock and roll, girl. You can pull it off. You're too good looking not to embrace it. And like I said, you color it. If you don't like it and it's not for you, then you just simply go back to what you've always had. I mean, that's just the way it is. So yeah, was there any other questions that I missed? I think I covered all topics, I hope. And if there wasn't anything that I mentioned, or if you would like to know anything else, again, feel free to message me privately or whatever. I'd be happy to answer anything for you. Oh, hello there, Stacy Sky. How are you? Don't be stressing, girl. You're another one that's too good looking to worry about it, but we need to talk for sure. Absolutely. So I just want to say that we're hoping at Patrick's that we are going to get back to doing your hair real soon. It's we know that everybody is missing us, and we're missing everybody. All the stylists at the salon are anxious to get back to work, but do know that we will be taking every precaution necessary to you know, make sure that the health of our staff and the safety of our clients is not jeopardized at all. Nicole has been working tirelessly at getting all of getting everything in order for us to do so. We do not know when that is going to be happening for us. We are just in the dark like the rest of the world, and when we get notice, we will let you know. It's been interesting, crazy, just crazy. And you know, for those of you that come in the salon and you're familiar with how it is at Patrick's, and it's so bustling and busy all the time, it isn't going to be that way. Not at first when we go back, because we will be taking things a lot slower and making sure again that the health and safety of everybody, all of our clients and our staff is not jeopardized. So yeah, I just want to close things up. I cannot believe I have been babbling on for an hour. This is like crazy, like holy crap. But you know, this was fun. I'm hoping to do more Facebook Lives, and I was thinking that I might do one a month, the first Sunday of the month, and I'm going to be tackling different topics and different things. So I hope that you guys will join me again. If you don't follow me on Instagram or YouTube, I would love for you to, especially my YouTube account, if you want to like and share. I've got some videos on there. I'm just getting it up and going. I don't have a lot going on. But yeah, if you're interested in joining me the first Sunday of the month, I will be doing a live Facebook at 7 o'clock on those days. And the next topic that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be addressing face shape. Face shape, hairstyles, and bangs for the proper face shape. And I find this to be really interesting because most women think that they have a round face. And this is not the case for most women. In fact, round is the least popular face shape that there is. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Next month, June, I'm not even sure the date. Do any of my girls have a date for when that would be, the first Sunday in June?
June 7th.
Okay, so Sunday, June 7th at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be going live again, and I hope to see you guys there. And thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, and, you know, take care. And I hope to see you soon. We hope to see you at the salon. And all right, guys, ciao for now, and I will talk to you in a month. I hope I covered everything you needed to know. Talk to you soon. Bye.